Shohei, when you look at just how you were able to navigate through the Rockies lineup, what did you find just being the biggest challenge and how you were able to get through it today?
今日この打線のその内容とか、投球振り返ってみて打線の印象とか何か。
どうですかね、全体的にやっぱりその自分の制球力とこう格闘してた感じかなと思います。
I was just battling the lack of command I had throughout the night.
When you have situations like this, what is the biggest focus for you and how you kind of want to either stay in the zone or be efficient to try to, as you were able to, get through 6 innings of work?
6イニング投げれて、ある程度調整できたと思いますけど、主に調整しようとしてたことは何でしたか？
どうですかね、いいディフェンスにもこう助けられて、そこが大きかったのかなとは思うので、全体通してさっきも言いましたけど、制球力、こう自分の投げたいところに投げれてないこうフラストレーションというか、そういうのとこう格闘してた感じかなと思います。
Yeah, I have to give credit to our defense. They really, set the tone today. Again, just command was off, and I just felt like I was battling the lack of it and the frustration.
Shohei, this is the most animated or frustrated that we've seen you lately on the mound. What led into some of that frustration?
フラストレーションが見えてたんですけども、なぜそこまで。
どうですかね、ピッチャーも歩かせたくないですし、ヒットを打たれるよりもやっぱりフォアボールでランナーを出すっていうのは、個人的にですけどすごい嫌なことではあるので、そういう意味ではちょっと多すぎたかなとは思います。
Just way too many walks, and of course you want to avoid the hits, but the result of that was a lot of walks today, and that's something that I just don't really want to do.
Despite the command issues that you've kind of had the last couple of games, how much pride you taken in the kind of success you've had, the results you've had the last 2 games?
それでも一応内容、結果的にはいい結果っていうので、少し誇れるところありますか？
そうですね、当たり自体こう強い当たりは打たせてないっていうのは、唯一いいところじゃないかなと思います。
The takeaway, if any, the positive is that they didn't really have any hard hits, and that's something I'm gonna.That's the positive.
If they could have finished off a no-hitter, you would have been part of that.
ノーヒットでしたら、で終わらせることが良いと思ってましたけど。
そうですけど、全体的にブルペンはもう本当に素晴らしい仕事を毎試合こなしていると思いますし、本当に安定感ある、もうそこまでつなげば勝てるんじゃないかなっていうそういうゲーム運びが今できていると思うので、オフェンスも7回までにしっかりとまずは勝っているシチュエーションっていうのをつなげれば十分に勝機があるんじゃないかなというぐらいすごい安定している、みんながそういう安定感のある仕事をしてるんじゃないかなと思います。
The bullpen's been just consistent, done a great job all year round, and I think we're setting the tone to where as long as we have the lead by the 7th, we can just, hand the baton and win the game. So in that sense, really the only job for us to do is make sure we have the lead in the 7th offensively and as a starting pitcher.
Did not giving up a hit still make this feel like a good start overall, or are you more just disappointed with some of the command and execution problems?
振り返ってヒットを許してないからいい登板として持っていますか、それともフォアボールが。
さっきも言いましたけど、ヒット打たれる方がまだリズム的にはいいんじゃないかなとは思うので、球数的にもフォアボールでランナーを出すというのは、それだけ長いイニングを投げづらくなるということではあるので、だったらヒットを5、6本打たれてる、シングル5、6本打たれるぐらいの方が効率的なのかなと思います。
Yeah, I think I could have pitched deeper into the game if I gave up hits. Just the walks lead to shorter outings, and I would rather prefer take the days when I get hit a little bit, but still be efficient, rather than walking and just not being able to pitch deeper into the game.
What do you think led to the lack of command in this one today?
その要因は。
やっぱ投げ心地じゃないかなとは、いつも同じことを言いますけど、打つのも投げるのも自分がこう思い通りに動いていればおのずといい結果が出るのかなとは思ってます。
I know I say the same thing a lot, but it's just the feel. When something's off offensively or defensively, I could tell and just couldn't really find it.
Last one, guys.
Last 2 starts, you've thrown 4-seamer sweeper over 80% of the time. Why have you narrowed things down like that?
この2登板、フォーシームスイーパー80%、何かその理由はありますかと。
いや特にはないですね、左にスイーパーを投げたいなというか、練習というか使っていきたいなとは思ってたのが、スイーパーが多くなっている要因なのかなとは。前半もそこまで多く投げてないですし、カーブとスプリットを主体には投げてたので、そこにプラススイーパーをしっかり投げたいなっていうところで、今日左が多かったので、パーセンテージがちょっと高くなっているのかなと思います。
No specific reason. I've been throwing more sweepers against left intentionally, and I think because it was more of a lefty-heavy lineup, it just ended up that way. I did mix in some curveball splits early in the year against lefties, but in general, I think because it was a left-handed hitting lineup, that the sweeper usage went up.
Thank you.
Dave, first just with Teoscar Hernandez, obviously it was clear that he was in pain when he exited the game. Do you have any news on him as to just how he's doing and what this could be for him moving forward?
Don't know how severe it is. He tested well, but we're going to get a scan tomorrow. Obviously, it's an IL, and there's just no timeline. But something like that, obviously, it's going to be a few weeks at the minimum. But disappointing. He's been playing so well, and he's a big part of what we're doing. So to lose him in any for any length of time is not great.
When you look at just, I guess, kind of going back to this game, the pitching today, we've talked at length of just how good the group has been. But when you have a guy like Shohei Ohtani who sets the tone, but is grinding through the outing, but still finds a way to get through six, ultimately does throw a no-hitter through six, how do you kind of just put towards us what he was able to do today?
Compete. I think you saw that in that Tovar at bat where he gave up a run, and then Will had the visit, and then he came out there and just dominated Tovar in that at bat. Tonight against the Padres, it just, for me, the fastball command wasn't there, and at times when it gets stressful, he makes pitches when he needs to, but then there's some kind of uncharacteristic walks in there and getting into bad counts, but when it gets stressful, he makes pitches when he needs to. But I think tonight it was just the fastball command he just didn't feel good with.
What do you think allows?
What's that, Kate?
Do you have an idea on who will come up for Teo?
I don't. Obviously, it seems like we'll talk to it tonight, but Wardo's on the roster and he's having a nice year. But I think kind of we'll talk through it and make a decision. We have the off day to kind of decide.
What do you think allows Shohei to have the results he does even when the command isn't good? Is it the simplest stuff, or is there anything more that goes into it?
I think certainly the velocity helps. So, even when he gets in bad counts, he can get Goodman to fly out twice. The sweeper, when he still just got enough stuff to make hitters uncomfortable and can use the curveball to slow him down, can use the sweeper to go, right to left. And again, once he gets guys into scoring position, he really bears down and the command seems to come to life. But this guy is just a crazy good competitor.
Have you ever seen a pitcher so dissatisfied with 6 no-hit innings?
Guy that wore number 22 that we remember, very similar.
Does that just kind of speak to even like the standards he has for himself when he's out on the mound?
Yeah, exactly. And I think, the great ones, you look at 6 innings, no-hit ball, that could have been 7 or 8, so, but that's what makes guys like that special.
Seemed like he was kind of cocking himself a lot. Do you know what his favorite curse word in English is?
I do. I do. I do. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to protect him on that one.
I think we all know now.
There you go.
How much did the thought of a no-hitter, you got pretty close there, did that start to circulate through the bench?
I guess, but I was just trying to win the game. But Tanner gave up a block base hit, so we pitched well. We pitched really well, and it would have been nice. I think the last one we had was in Mexico in 16, bullpen no-hitter against the Padres. But it would have been nice, but we'll take the win.
Where do you see Ohtani offensively right now?
I like where he's at. I think that tonight, I don't think he, after the homer, he's pitching tonight, still kind of grinding through the outing. I don't think he put forth his best effort tonight as far as discipline. I think there was a 3-2 ball down in the zone. He could have taken the walk, and another time I think he had count leverage and he grounded out. But I think in general, in the last few weeks, he's in a good spot.
It's still a small sample, but what do you think about Andy Pahes hitting second?
I like it. I just think that Andy's, really taking good at bats. I think that he's earned the right to hit at the top of the order. Nothing has changed in his approach. And, quite frankly, he's swinging the bat better than anyone. With that, it's nice to see him get 5 at-bats tonight.
With Teo out, do you see Cole getting a lot more at-bats in that spot?
Yeah, we'll probably platoon, Call and somebody else. But yeah, I still see Call. It's not going to be a clear-cut platoon, but I do see Alex getting more plate appearances, yes.
And is Kim a factor for you in the outfield now, just with where he's at?
Yeah, he made a couple nice plays. That was great. It was good to kind of see him out there, and I wanted to give Kyle a full day off, and I trust the Comet, so it was good to see him out there make a couple nice plays and get a knock too.
Dave, you summoned number 22. Do you see some Kershaw traits in Ohtani on the mound?
Yeah, I do. He's I wouldn't say he's as animated as Clayton was, but he's intense in his way, and a certain expectation of excellence. Clayton certainly had that, and Shohei has that. Preparedness, and when it gets hot, stressful scoring position, they make pitches. That's similarity, but yeah, obviously with Clayton, it's hard to compare anyone with Clayton given how long he did it for.
When you watch Shohei, if you only could pick one or the other, what gets you more juiced up, watching what he does at the plate or on the mound?
Yeah, I would say I'd say probably when he's right pitching. I love watching that kind of alter ego compete on the mound.
Dave, when you see Ohtani heating up over the last couple of weeks, do you expect to see him return more to the lineup on his start days, or is that something you're kind of just monitoring?
We're monitoring each start, yeah. Anyone got a question for me back there? One of you young kids?
How impressed have you been with your depth, especially tonight? Cole made a nice play in the outfield, Freeland for a nice play in the infield as well.
It's huge. It's part of, our roster construction, and knowing that we play a marathon of 162 and things are going to happen, and you got to be able to give guys days off, and not many teams can afford to sit Kyle Tucker in a close ball game and give him a full night's rest, and put in Alex Call, start him, and then your left fielder goes down, and then you put in a utility guy in Haesung Kim out there and feel good about it, and for him to make defensive plays, and Dalton rushing is pinch hit, DH at times, and so to be able to do stuff like that, it's certainly the depth. And even with our bullpen, we have veteran guys out there, but then we have a lot of young players that are performing, and Kyle Hurt doesn't have a year of service yet, and he got a save tonight, so that just speaks to the depth too. So thanks for the question. All right, guys.
But to be trusted in a safe situation, because what does this moment kind of mean for you right now?
It's awesome. I'm having so much fun being here, just around these guys. They're all great baseball players, and to have that trust in Doc is huge, and giving me even more confidence. I mean, that's the whole point of this game, is having confidence, and just knowing that he trusts me in that situation means a lot to me, for sure.
Yeah. So you've got the ball, you've got the lineup.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it?
Probably just hang it up somewhere. I don't know. I live in a pretty small apartment right now, but eventually could put it in a cool little man cave down the road with some other jerseys, stuff like that. So I'm excited, yeah.
What was the vibe in the bullpen as you're watching the no-hitter unfold?
I'll be honest with you, I had no idea it happened until the hit happened. I didn't know. Because I saw the score and I just thought they got a couple hits, and then vest told me, and I had no idea. So I was kind of shocked, but it was cool to see.
You almost had to come into a game with a no-hitter at stake. Was there some pressure off of you?
I wouldn't have known going in because I didn't know there was a no-hitter going on. So I think I would have treated it like any other game. So, but yeah.
Ignorance would have been bliss.
yeah. But I was shocked that I had no idea in the 8th inning we were throwing a no-hitter. I need to pay attention.
What's so much success between the emphasis on the fastball and the changeup? The more you use that mix, how much does your confidence grow with it?
A lot, you know. I just kind of been preached to throw the fastball at the top of the zone and then kind of mix the changeup in off of that. And I do throw a slider, but only 5, 6, 7% of the time. And you know, it's hard to, as a hitter, it's hard to kind of to see that heater at the top and the changeup in the same way it comes out of my arm. So I'm just super confident in it, and I'm just going to keep going.
What's the feeling among the pitchers as a group watching Ohtani when he's doing this thing?
It's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life, to be honest with you. Like last week in his start, he hit a leadoff homer. He did it again today. He threw 6 no-hit innings, and he gave up 1 run, but that it is what it is. That's baseball. But it's insanely fun and cool to just see what he's doing. And I'm just thrilled to be a part of this team and watch it every single day. So, yeah.
As a young pitcher, are you just really kind of super analyzing how he's approaching things on the mound?
I mean, he's one of a kind. He throws almost 6, 7 pitches. You know, he can manipulate the baseball with the best of them. I have a different arsenal than he does, but watching what he does every day, you know, I don't know how he does it. He throws 6 no-hit innings and then takes 4 or 5 ABs. He's running all over the place. You know, it's super cool to watch.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Andy, you've been so just consistent at the plate this year. With moving into the 2-hole, did that change your approach or anything, or how did you just kind of stay true to yourself looking to get the results there?
Has sido consistente todo el año. Cuando cambiaste a batear segundo, ¿has cambiado lo que estás haciendo en el pato?
No, simplemente trato de hacer lo mismo. Simplemente trato de coger buenos turnos y tratar de ayudar al equipo haciendo lo mismo.
Yeah, I try to do the same thing, you know, have good at-bats, try to just have good at-bats when I'm up there.
You've now hit in so many different parts of the lineup. Does it feel like the pitches you're receiving are different, though, when you are at the top of the order compared to the bottom?
Has bateado en diferentes posiciones en la alineación. ¿Ha cambiado los pitcheros que te están tirando a ti o cómo están planeando los pitchers contra ti?
Yo creo que los otros equipos obviamente siempre miran quién está después de ti o algo así, pero yo no le presto mucha importancia a eso, simplemente donde el equipo me necesita a mí, ahí voy a estar y a tratar de dar lo mejor de mí cada día igual.
Yeah, I think pitchers look at where you are in the lineup and what they're trying to do to certain players in the lineup, but I don't really take that approach. I kind of just go about what I'm trying to do and try to get good at bats and take good turns at the plate.
How aware were you guys of the no-hitter?
¿Tú sabías que tenían un no-hitter durante la octava entrada?
Sí, sabía que estaba ahí. Eso pasa. El bullpen hizo un excelente trabajo, igual Choje, pero hoy no se pudo, ya será otro día.
Yeah, we were well aware. You know, obviously things happened around the course of the game, and unfortunately they got a hit. But bullpen did a great job, Shohei did a great job, and those things happen in a baseball game.
It seems like you guys took
As a defense, are you kind of like heightened a little when you know that, you know, replay could be the difference between a hit and not?
La defensa, ¿usted se piensa, el pensamiento cambia cuando están en defensa durante estas ocasiones?
O sea, hablando de mi perspectiva, yo creo que sí, yo me pongo un poquito más agresivo, tratando de todo lo que sea una línea que yo crea que puedo dar mi mayor esfuerzo para agarrarla. Obviamente eso está ahí. Siempre que esté cerca, siempre pensamos en hacer la jugada.
Yeah, I mean, speaking for myself, you know, I become a little bit more aggressive, try to expand like my defensive area and try to make aggressive plays if there's a chance to save a hit or to save the no-hitter for sure.
How hard is it when you just see in the last 2 days, yesterday Kike goes out of the game, today Teoscar, what is the feeling just amongst the group when you guys do have 2 key guys of this team that are unfortunately now battling with some intense injuries?
¿Qué es el pensamiento, como las dificultades cuando ves a los compañeros tuyos que caen de lesiones y luego también como caballeros que son
Yo creo que son cosas que aún aunque no me pasaron a mí o no le pasen a otros jugadores, yo creo que es bastante frustrante para nosotros porque tenemos la oportunidad de verlos a ellos que trabajan fuerte cada día, se preparan para que eso no suceda y aún así esas cosas pasan, pero yo digo que son cosas que van a pasar todo el tiempo y lo único que puedo decirle es que Dios siempre tiene un propósito.
Yeah, luckily nothing like that has ever happened to me, but like obviously it's very frustrating to see your guys go through that. You know how hard they work, you know what the ethic they put in every day and the things that they do to prepare themselves for the games, and to see that, it's obviously very frustrating for them and for us as a whole.
Thank you.
To the game, this Dodger team continues to play really good baseball. Love what Shohei. He didn't have his best stuff tonight or his command, but he gave his team a chance to win no-hit innings, and obviously with the bat, setting the tone, leadoff home run, special player.
They got greedy. We said that before the game. You got a chance for a sweep, you get greedy, and you go out there and take care of business. They did exactly that. Shohei set the tone, both at the plate and on the mound. Going out there, giving 6 innings, no hit. Yeah, gave up a few walks, but nonetheless, gave the team a chance. They swung the bat to the top of the lineup. The one thing that the top of the line, we're waiting for them to get going this year, well, the top 3 guys each with a home run, supplying the power, supplying the run. So just all around, it was a really good win because even the bullpen came in, did a fantastic job. Defense, great job, guys.
Dodgers get the 4-1 win over the Rockies. Behind the plate, catching Shohei Ohtani tonight was Will Smith, and right now he is standing by with Kirsten Watson.
Will, the pitching as of late has been the story. You guys have been excellent. When you look at this game, you had 7 2/3 of no-hit work. What was just the biggest thing that you saw from this pitching staff today?
Yeah, I thought, Show gave us a great start. He was getting in the zone. He's kind of a little wild in the zone a little bit today, but he's keeping off balance, making pitches when he needed to, and keeping it bay, and then handing over the bullpen. I thought Klein was great, Scott was great, and then Kyle Hurt picking up his first save was awesome.
How special has Kyle Hurt, and what kind of addition has he been to the bullpen this year?
Yeah, he's been great. He's got really good stuff. 3-pitch mix. He attacks the zone, and he gets quicks out, puts guys away with 2 strikes, and he's going to have a good year for us.
You had mentioned Shohei Ohtani. When you look at him being able to navigate through that 6 innings of works, especially when he doesn't have his best stuff, the fight that he shows, how do you describe just what he's like on the mound in games like this?
Yeah, he just finds a way. He finds a way to make pitches when he needs to. He finds a way to bear down and get out of a little jam here and there. He's just got really good feel, and that's what he does. He just competes and figures it out.
All right, now let's talk about you offensively. Dave Roberts did recently switch up the lineup. You're a little bit lower in the order, but getting on base consistently right now, what do you think has just been the biggest difference for you, especially getting back on track, and then of course getting the results with the double today?
Yeah, just trying to put together some good at bats, some mechanical changes, some stuff. Just working a lot in the cages. Mook and I were hitting the other day, so he had some success yesterday. So it's good to see the hits start to come.
Yeah, the 2 of you are right back where you want to be. Congratulations on this win and a fantastic series, Will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shohei Ohtani goes 6 innings, did not allow a base hit, although he was charged with a run because, as Will Smith said, he was a little bit wild in the zone. He had 4 walks, also hit a batter, punched out 7 through 99 pitches to pick up win number 5 on the season. His consecutive scoreless inning streak, Nomar, came to an end at 19, but I think what we were all watching out there was a guy who was grinding and continuing to find ways to make the pitches when he needed to get out.
Well, Will Smith touched on that. He said, listen, there were times where he was wild over the course of this game, but still, when he needed the pitch, he came through. He had the pitch to get guys out. Well, that's what gamers have to do, and pitchers going out there, that when they don't have their best stuff, you can tell they may be frustrated or grindy, but when they need that pitch, when they need the important pitch, maybe to get that out, when maybe there's some traffic, Shohei was able to give that pitch. And that's what you need. And that also feeds to the rest of the guys also coming into that game. They're like, this guy's battling, we got to battle. The offense feels the same way. Say, he's battling, he's not giving up. We got to go out there and score some runs. And the bullpen did an excellent job once again, just going out there and pounding the zone, trusting their stuff. But for Shohei, listen, it happens, and we're going. He didn't have his best stuff, and he still didn't give up a hit. I mean, that says a lot about Shohei.
Well, you can see he was a little bit irritated, visually frustrated at times. Walked 4 guys, also hits a batter, and he was frustrated. But the one thing you can't take away from Shohei, he is an absolute fighter. And he fought tonight on the mound. Yes, he hit that home run in that first inning, give himself a lead. But on the mound, he knew, listen, I got to make sure I throw up zeros. Give my team a chance to win. I remember Clayton Kershaw and other pitchers that I played with in the past. Sometimes when you take the mound, you're not going to have your best stuff. You're not going to have your best command. But what you can do is continue to fight and give yourself and your team a chance to win. And that's exactly what Shohei Ohtani did tonight. Really impressive performance, and Nomar, you touched on it. Didn't have his best command, did not have his best stuff. No hit through 6th inning. Pretty impressive.
Kind of a perfectionist even out there on the mound. It wasn't quite going the way that he had planned it out tonight, but still it's 6 hitless innings. It's also a win. And Jerry, you mentioned it. He helped himself. He helped his own cause because for the second straight pitching start, he also led off the game with his bat, hitting a bomb.
Well, John, you guys know I ran to the set around 5:58 saying I'm picking Shohei. He's my call shot. I accidentally ran into him earlier, and I just had a feeling he was going to go deep. Very confident coming in the ball game tonight. Listen, head down on contact. I love the swing, stays balanced throughout the swing. And when he's staying square, those hands work naturally. Just an impressive athlete for the second time in a row, pitching and hitting. He goes deep in that first inning.
Oh, I know he was your called shot. I get it, because like you mentioned, you saw him and it says, listen, you can see it in his eyes, which was great to see. But you were also talking about, oh, he hasn't necessarily been hitting great. I said, well, his last game he led off with a home run, and he did it here once again. Listen, that narrative, yeah, whatever. You don't have to worry about that. He's just finding his swing right now. We knew that. It was a matter of time. It was coming. We're seeing that. And it is just sheer dominance out there on the mound. That is so impressive, even in a night where you can tell that he's visually just frustrated that he wasn't just as consistent with his command, but still being able to dig deep and find a way.
You know what's amazing? It's almost as if he homers in that first inning. Okay, let me get my hitting out of the way with the home run. I provide some offense. Now I can really focus on pitching. Yeah. It's almost the fact he's kind of doing that. He certainly has done that the last 2 starts.
Well, I think it's time that we should hear from Shohei Ohtani, because right now